That was a bit of work, but the rewards. I can't help myself. I said I wasn't going to document these hikes that I'm repeating, but why not? So Tuesday morning, Geoff and I, kind of a last minute thing, decided he's not working, I'm not working, let's go for a quick hike. So this is the Cat Creek trailhead in the Highwood Valley area of Kananaskis, and we're going to go do what I consider to be one of my all-time favorite hikes. We're going to go to Lake of the Horns, over Mount Muir, and out to Carnarvon, a trail that I dubbed the Elk Highline. And maybe we'll take this opportunity and explore and go a few places along the way that I haven't been before. And definitely one of the things looking forward to on this trip is the berries are in season, and look for some fossils.
That's where we're going?
The lake, Carnarvon Lake,
Lake of the Horns?
Lake of the Horns is, actually you can't see Lake of the Horns, but Carnarvon Lake is there. You see Mount Strachan?
Yeah.
And then there's kind of a wall there that goes up. Carnarvon Lake is in front of that wall. In that gap behind Strachan. But we're going to go up, I'm pretty confident with weather like this, we're going to go up Mount Muir. Not just over it, but we're going to come to the top of Mount Muir. Okay, so we're following an old fire access road. The one more shaped like a pyramid is Mount McPhail. There's a lake there called Lake of the Horns, so we're going there tonight. Then we're going to go behind. And the second one is Mount Strachan, and we're going to go over Mount Strachan, but behind it is Mount Muir. Actually, that is Mount Muir. Yeah.
Oh, is this it?
Yeah. And these are Saskatoons. I better remember, we're going to go by on the way out. They're not quite ripe yet. They're too mealy to make a good jam, but they sure make a nice pie, a Saskatoon pie. Guess what I'm having when I get home. All right, this is the Highwood, and it looks absolutely tame. Nonetheless, we don't want to get our boots wet, so Geoff's got his shoes. Or an easy ford, put my boots around my neck, and here we go. Woo! Cold, 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 cold. Very cold. Yeah, that was cold. Tell the folks how cold that water is.
Yep.
Why is that water so cold, Geoff?
Oh my God. Why is it so cold?
Yeah.
Because we're in Canada?
Yeah.
We've hiked just over 5 kilometers, and Marty's got a little spot here for us to take a break. Maybe eat some lunch.
I'm gonna go down there and get water. It's cleaner than this crap. There's the creek goes by here.
Short break. Come across the first campsite, which we're not gonna stay at. Old site with, geez, there's a shitter right there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not sitting on that.
Get some water.
Another horse camp. This one's a little bit more luxurious. It's got a picnic table, shitter, decorated shitter at that. It's probably for a tarp, I guess.
I knew there was a picnic table. They moved it.
This isn't too bad, this one. Not very flat though, eh?
Who brought this in?
And he dragged it on the horses, upside down.
I suppose, or wagon.
Or
Obviously
wagon.
not pooping there. That's the toilet. They probably bring it somewhere up over here, somewhere else.
Almost at camp.
Right, I said there's a great big beaver dam coming up ahead, and you can tell. So he's been chewing there, chewed those. Look at all these trees that are gone. I don't know how well you see, but where the water ends there, there's one dam. Then it goes down, and then there's another pond, and there's another dam over there, and I bet you there's a third dam. So this is a whole network of dams. So the creek is minuscule, goes through there, and he dammed this area, the beaver, and now he created his own ponds. Industrial.
Marty, as an engineer, how much do you respect beavers?
Oh, I love them. I think that's fabulous. I mean, you know, it's just based on instinct and mama's training, but the creek comes through here, and he finds an area, he figures out the best spot to build a dam so that the water coming from the creek gets stopped by the dam, and he builds, and it's a reservoir that he lives in.
It's very peaceful.
It's an artificial lake. I think I say it every time I come through here. I should find my engineering stamp. So I have an iron ring. I'm a Canadian trained engineer, and my stamp, when I need to authenticate something or stamp a drawing, is a beaver with my name across it. I'll try and find it. I don't know where this trail goes. This goes to Lake of the Horns, but my understanding of the regulations is that that is the wildland park, so that's where there's random camping and free camping, and on this side we're probably in Peter Lougheed or something like that, and even though there's camps all along here, I don't think you're allowed to camp on this side. Okay, so this is about 200 meters after the park boundary. That's to the Hill of Flowers. That's Hill of Flowers. Right behind these two spruces. That's how close he got. And then that's when I started screaming at him. And then he walked around, and my tent was set up here, and he was just there, like.
I remember that from the video, like right there.
Yeah, you'd think he was a long distance in the video, but he was literally right there. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And then he walked, and he walked, and then he went to that other campsite there, and he was looking at me from over there, and then finally took off towards the river.
We're talking about Marty's bear. And this is where we're going to camp.
Yeah. And I think the culprit that attracted him was this stuff. This
Cow parsnip?
This cow parsnip that's all through here. So we're leaving we set up our tents, and we got our sleeping gear in there, and we're just taking our packs up with us to the lake and our food.
So we decided it was best to set up over there and take a little day hike up to, or afternoon hike up to Lake of the Horns and see it that way instead. Got our food with us, and our backpacks and clothes and gear are back there, so nothing smelly.
Following that creek up to the lake. The trail goes up there, down to the head wall climb, and the lake is just tucked in there. And I was wondering if I could go up over that, follow that ridge, and go to that wall over there.
This is a climb, and we are headed right just over that little saddle, I guess, is where Lake of the Horns is.
Totally looks like a gargoyle guarding the entrance of this lake. Huh?
Short little break here, and then we go up that wall, and then we're there. Marty hates walls. He's a mountain goat. Look at him go.
There's people.
One little bit. There's some guys up there coming down. A little sketchy part.
These people tried to go up and decided to go back down.
And just like that, here is Lake of the Horns. Woo. Named after all of the horn fossils you see dotted around. And it's a tarn lake, so look up tarn and then explain it in the lake. Finally, when the sun comes out, you can see the beautiful color of the lake. That's gorgeous. Seems to be a little less windy here. Like it was literally blowing us over. Oh, never mind, it's windy.
Yeah, it's a very, very windy spot because the wind comes through this gap, and then this lake, it's a classic tarn lake in the cirque, so there's just wind all over. But guys have camped here, or gals. I don't know what they're burning, there's not much for trees. Yeah, you can feel the wind, so we just had a quick break. It is now 4:30. We left camp at 2:37. It's been 2 hours. We're just gonna go back to camp.
Hey, too cold, too windy up there. Head back down to camp and then go down this sketchy part of the wall that Marty's on right now. Oh, be careful.
I went down first, and then Geoff comes down after me, because even a small rock that gets kicked can do a lot of damage if it hits you.
I don't know if that was harder going up or coming down.
Taking a break, get some water. My legs were wobbly, shaking. What a view, what a view. Here, I'll show it to you. All right, well, we've been in camp for a couple of hours. It's 7:40, and camp chores are done. We had a nice meal, simple, smokies on naan breads. Got the fire going, got a little bit of firewood, tents are set up. All we do now is sit around the fire, enjoy a whiskey and tell stories and wait till morning.
Get ourselves some whiskey, nice raging fire. A beaver pond, nice sunset.
This is an example of absolute wilderness camping. So there's no bear hangs here, there's no food lockers, there's no fire pits or anything like that. And you know, I've talked about this, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. When we showed up here today, we were what I call bundles of odor. So we had our packs on, and we're, you know, I show up in camp and I'm a bundle of odor. And then you unpack. And so what do you do when you unpack? Well, think about it. So I got a cooking area here, so I got odors here. And then I went and put my tent over there. So I have odors. I mean, the tent smells like resin and my body and maybe suntan lotion, insect repellent, things like that. And so I spread my odors around. Now, the idea that you should put your food away from your camp is an interesting idea, but what you're doing is you're actually pushing odors further out. So you're giving your camp a bigger odor footprint. And when you're setting up your camp, the wind might be a certain way, but by the time goes by, the wind can change. So right now I have the wind and it's coming in my face. So if a bear comes from over there, he's disadvantaged because he can't smell us. And maybe I hung my food over there, but the bear is going to take a big, long, wide trip around to get downwind so he can smell our odors. So the idea of spreading your odors around can have negative consequences, especially if you put stuff in the wrong area because you haven't considered the wind. So now I might feel safe because my food is over there, but the bear is going to come through here and he's going to investigate everything on his way to get to the food. And trust me, he's not focused entirely on the food. He doesn't know that it's food. He eats dead beavers, dead elk, and berries. So he's not necessarily accustomed to the fact that my Kraft dinner or my granola bar or my Kit Kat chocolate bar is food. So he's just curious and investigating odors. And on his way to there, he'll probably stop at the tent and sniff around and do other things. So my philosophy, which has served me well for 30 years, is that I keep my food near me. And if a bear comes into the camp, I will defend my food and I will threaten the bear and I will spray the bear if necessary. Otherwise, if I separate too much, the bear could actually come and go to my food without me knowing it, and then he'll take my food or something else, and I'm at a disadvantage because I'm now missing some gear. So it's not a strategy for everybody. If you show up in a campground and there's a bear pole or a food locker, sure, use it. But if you're in the wilderness here, true wilderness, where you got an absolutely wild bear, you have to think like a bear, and spreading everything around is not necessarily the right idea. So it's worked for me for 35 years. I'm just putting it out there. Criticize me if you want. Obviously, my risk tolerance is different than most people's. So I'm just giving you food for thought, you know? I mean, and the other thing that's interesting, people say bears have a great sense of smell and they'll want to investigate things. Absolutely. But remember, that great sense of smell also tells them that there's a dead elk in the valley next door, so they're more likely to go investigate that. So we're not the only smells in this valley. There's a ton of smells around here, and bears, sure, they go with their nose, but they worry about the wind, and they, so yeah, there's a lot more to enjoying the outdoors and to preventing incidents in the outdoors than just simply following rules that you read on the internet, So that's all I'm asking is think about what you've been told, carry your thoughts to their logical conclusions, and be open to other suggestions. 9:15, early night. The wood around here is all poplar and it's wet. Even the dead standing poplar is kind of wet, so it's smoky and it doesn't burn very well. So we had a pretty bad fire. And then the other thing is it's starting to rain. There's little droplets. So, if there's no need to stay up late, then there's no need to stay up late. So we're going to bed. Had a great day. So we hiked up from the Cat Creek parking lot all the way to this campsite, set up our camp, then went up to Lake of the Horns. Lake of the Horns gets its name from the horned corals that are common around there. Didn't find any, but where we're going tomorrow along the Wary Gap, I know there's lots of corals there, so hopefully we'll get some corals. And which is a fascinating story in and of itself. We're at a high altitude, and here we are finding fossils that were once on a seabed. So, I'll give an explanation of that tomorrow when I find some horned corals. So we went to the lake. The lake was just windy. Definitely, we didn't even have a plan of staying at the lake. We just went to the lake and came back down, had our fire, cooked supper, nothing fancy, and now we're going to bed. So tomorrow we have a great day ahead of us. We're going to go up over a wall to the Wary Gap and climb Mount Muir. We'll hopefully get to the edge of the Mount Muir and look down on this amazing valley, and then we're going to go down towards Carnarvon Lake. A traverse that I didn't pioneer, but I'm trying to make it popular, and we'll see how it goes. Here, let me just listen. You can hear the rain. So it's it's not minus, it's probably 3 or 4 degrees right now. I have a 0 degree Celsius sleeping bag, and I made a rookie mistake today. I came here and I didn't bring any spare clothing. My clothing bag I left at home by accident, so all I have are the clothes on my back, but I'll be fine as long as it doesn't rain too much. Forecast calls for 10% chance of rain tomorrow, so we should be okay. But if we wake up and it's really ugly, we'll reconsider our plans. Always be willing to adjust your itinerary when you're out here. Anyways, good night, folks. See you in the morning. That almost sounds like snow. If it is snow, it could make tomorrow very interesting. I don't think I want to climb over Mount Muir if it's snowing. In fact, I know I don't want to do that.